Hi guys! As I promised you in the introductory video, today I'm going to share my recent IELTS reading experience with you that I got here in New Zealand. And also, I'm going to share some interesting and useful reading tips with you that I use. So be with me till the end. So I did academic test. The academic reading test takes 60 minutes and there are 40 questions. The test contains usually 3 parts, but in the test that I did in the last week, I had 4 sections, 4 passages, not 3. To be honest, I can't remember all 4 texts, but I can remember the first and the last one. The first one was on coffee and the last one was on universe. The paper was not that hard as I expected. The topics and the passages were rather familiar. So first of all, I will show you how your reading paper is being assessed. So let's look at the score description. So now comes the best part. Now I'm going to share some interesting and useful tips with you, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be wonder working for you too. So the reading tip number 1. Read the instructions carefully. Let's look at this example. So if you don't read the instructions carefully, we may end up writing more than one word when the examiner has asked us to write only one word. Let's look at another example. So did you notice those red words? This is a common question that appears in the reading paper. Yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given. When the question is about yes, no, not given, you may tend to write true, false, not given, or vice versa. So it is really important that you read the question carefully and understand it before answering. And let's look at the next example. What about that question? Again, it is a common question that we get in any reading paper. You are asked to write the relevant letter, but the candidate may write the phrase or the correct word as the answer rather than writing the respective letter. Tip number 2. Be mindful of time. Don't spend more time just on one question. If you do so, you are going to miss a whole lot of time in answering other questions. So always make sure you do not spend time just on one question, but keep on moving and try to answer as much as you can. Tip number 3. Don't worry about unknown or unfamiliar words. Don't try to understand them. If you can't understand, try to read the whole sentence and grasp the meaning. Or just simply forget it. Because it is better to move on into other questions rather than just wasting time on something that you even don't understand. Let's look at tip number 4. When answering, go in order. Remember, the questions are given in order. Think that there are 5 paragraphs in third passage. So now you have got questions from first paragraph, third, fourth and fifth, but nothing from the second paragraph. So there can be a question at the end of those single questions just from that second paragraph. Tip number 5. Cross out wrong answers. Especially when matching the headings or fill in the blanks with the given words, it is really important to cross out the wrong phrases or answers, words. Sorry. Now, when you are reading, if you realize that there are such phrases or words which are irrelevant and wrong, just cross it out so that you can save time. You do not have to keep on reading the wrong or irrelevant phrases or words. So cross out the words or phrases which are not relevant to your question. Tip number 6. This is a common tip and we all know it. That is practice. Practice, practice. I repeat, practice. Not just for IELTS or for reading paper, but this is true for any other paper or any other exam. Practice makes perfect. So practice is something that is really important in this component as well. Tip number 7. This is English and not our mother tongue. So you need good practice and a good knowledge. No matter how much you practice, you need to have a fair understanding of English. Otherwise, just following tips won't help you, and that's the sad truth. There is no magic potion in passing IELTS exam. So you got to read whatever that comes into your hand in English. Maybe it is about local politics. I can agree with you, it's sickening. But still, you got to read it if you want to improve your reading skills and English language. And even if you are not a fan of English literature, still you got to read it. Sometimes it can be complex, complicated. There may be hard words, but still you got to keep on reading. It can be about science or even maths or any other subject that you are not familiar with, but still keep on reading. Tip number 8. Have a plan. This exam is really costly. So before booking a date for the exam, be prepared. But don't take too long. So now we are moving to the end of the list. Tip number 9. Get a good understanding on all kinds of questions that you can get in your reading paper. Don't just pick what you like the most or the questions that are easy for you, but practice all kinds of questions that may come in your IELTS reading paper. So now we have come to the end of this video. I'm going to share my last tip with you. But this is not the least. Believe in yourself. You are not the first or the last to do this IELTS exam. It is really important to remember that you are able. So I wish you all the very best. See you in the next video. Thank you for joining with me.